This is a story about when I realized I made it as a filmmaker, content creator, whatever you want to call me. I remember 2017, this is August, and I had 3 eggs in the fridge. I didn't know how I was going to be able to continue to live in Austin, Texas, and afford my apartment, let alone pay for my kids' daycare and eat. All I had was 3 eggs in the fridge, and I had to make a decision. Either I eat that because I need that and I need to eat, or I save that for my kids. Obviously, I chose my kids to eat instead. That was August 2017. And 2 months later, I'm flying in first class. I think it was American Airlines. It could have been Delta. This is the first and only time I've ever ridden in first class, by the way. And I'm wearing this $7,000 suit. I have a cup of coffee in my hand. I'm 30,000 feet in the air. And it hits me, dude. I close my eyes and I get really grateful. And I take a mental picture of this moment because I'm just looking down at my own body. I'm looking down at myself. I got this cup of coffee in my hand. I'm wearing this suit. I got these $500 pairs of shoes. I got this $5,000 jacket that I have on. I'm wearing this suit. It's so not Knives. It's very not me. And I remember thinking to myself, I just 2 months ago, I had 3 eggs in the fridge. I was stealing food from work, so I could eat. I mean, I wasn't starving to death by any means. I don't want to be too melodramatic here, but that was what was going on. I didn't have food to go to a buffet. I didn't have money, rather, to go to a buffet. And here I am in first class. And I hadn't ridden on an airplane in 10 plus years. And in this moment, I knew, holy shit, I made it. And I take this mental snapshot in my head. And I was filled with pride and I was filled with I did it. I deserve this. I effing earned this. That is a real thing that happened and nobody can ever take that away from me. Now, I don't say that to impress you, but I do want to impress upon you. That started out as a fantasy. It started out as a fantasy. It started out as a pipe dream. I always wanted to make it as a content creator. And I never knew when that moment would be. I thought maybe if I had 6 figures in the bank, I thought maybe if I made a feature film, then I would have made it. I thought maybe if I made my grandma proud, then I would have made it. And all these things are micro successes along the way. But all these things started off as a fantasy. Most of you live in the fantasy. We all have these pipe dreams. We all have these dreams, these goals, these aspirations, these wants, these desires. But I posit, I think what ends up happening is you get so used to living in that fantasy world that it becomes more lucrative for you, more interesting for you to just stay there in that fantasy than to actually take the risks of actually achieving what it is you want, what it is you desire. So I want to talk about fantasy versus reality and how I think content creators get stuck in the dream version that they want to be. We've all been guilty of this. The Knives Monroe I want to be has an Academy Award, has for Best Director, mind you, has this car, has this suit, has these shoes, has this whatever, dude. And, I can tell you that as a guy who has made it and has had that moment a few times and has been lucky enough to have that, and it was just a moment where everything hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, I went from having 3 eggs in the fridge to flying first class, seemingly overnight, although it happened over the course of 12 years. And I can tell you that where it went wrong for me was I stopped dreaming. I stopped fantasizing and I stopped having those goals because I was living in the moment. I was it's easy to get to the top, but then you have to maintain it. And so I was maintaining it for a few years. And up until very recently, I had to redesign my goals, and I've done that. And I have goals for 2023, and I'll share that in the next video, I promise. But I want to pop the bubble of this concept of just living in your head. I'll get there one day eventually, without putting in the deposits and planting the seeds necessary to achieve your self-actualized version of yourself, whatever that is. So first of all, let's do this. In the comments, I want you to write to me your dreams, your desires, and your goals. This could be, I want to move out of my apartment. I want to move out of my mom's house. I want to make a short film. I want to direct one scene. I want to write a feature film. I want to collaborate with Knives, whatever that is. Hopefully your dreams are a little more grandiose than that. I'm all for delusions of grandeur, if you can't tell. But leave that in the comments below, because I want to hold you accountable to that first and foremost. And it takes a lot of guts to write these things down. But I also want to emphasize the difference between fantasy and reality, right? Create the most outlandish goals that you possibly can. Shoot for the stars. Maybe you settle for the moon, that whole thing, right? It's easy to get caught up in the fantasy of where we want to be and what we want life to be like. But it's important to remember that fantasies are just that. And in order to make our dreams a reality, we have to take action and work to achieve them. So write it down, identify it first, right? And I want to highlight the benefits of pursuing this versus sitting back and just watching life pass you by. I think people get so high on their own supply. They're so caught up in this is what I want to be, this is what I want to do, that they never actually do anything about it. So I want to highlight the benefits of pursuing your goals. When we pursue our goals and our dreams, we're able to grow as individuals and make meaningful impact to the world around us. That could be our siblings, that could be our friends of friends, it could be our coworkers. I want to emphasize the personal and professional growth that comes with working towards your goals and how it can lead to greater satisfaction and fulfillment in life. Something happened to me when I made it, and I was fortunate enough to have this mentor that really showed me what it meant to be a leader. And so this guy, without meaning to, and some of you who have been watching my content for long enough, you know that I'm talking about Dakota Meyer. If you guys want me to talk more about that, leave that in the comments below, and I'll talk about my journey with Dakota Meyer, because trust me, that's a video that I've never made, and I'm happy to make one day. But this guy would pay for my meals, and nobody ever did that for me, you know? And now to this day, like, I pay for my friends' meals, and that's like success, right? And that's one of the benefits that came from pursuing my goals, was now I was able to be that type of person that someone could depend on. I went from having a bike, not even having my own automobile, to having my own truck. Like, now I'm that guy that my friends call when they need to move, or they need to go from one apartment to another. If I want a crossroad road trip and go from Austin to Las Vegas, which I did this year for funsies, I can do that. And I don't have to worry about car troubles. My little PT Cruiser, can it make it with the one window taped because the window's broken and I couldn't afford to fix the window? I didn't have to worry about that. And that came from pursuing my goals. That came from putting in these deposits every single day, writing my goals down, visualizing this, not just fantasizing about the world that I wanted, but the actions that I had to take to get there. And I did it, and I was able to do it. Now, it didn't happen from one day to the next. It was more like this gradient over the course of the last 6 to 8 years is when I went from amateur to pro. But it was a game-changing, life-altering, world-bending, mind-melting event that took place that impacted my friends and family around me. You know, I really turned from like a boy to a man, going from amateur to pro, working with Dakota Meyer and solidifying myself as a professional in this business, in this industry. That was like the ultimate goal for me. That was the ultimate success story, was I wanted to go from amateur to professional, and it happened. Changed my life forever. So I'm sharing these stories because we always talk about goal setting, the goal setting workshop, creative massive action plan. You always hear this, but you never hear about the people who actually achieve their goals. And I want you to audit these systems yourself. Have you created a goal? Maybe it was a New Year's resolution. Maybe it was something that you set out to do 5 years ago. Maybe you wanted your dream camera, something like that. Maybe you wanted your dream girlfriend, your dream boyfriend. Maybe you wanted to finish school. Maybe you wanted to just finish the semester. Maybe it started off as a prayer. You wrote it down. You prayed to God, whatever. And then you actually achieved it. We need to share more of those stories. We need to share the stories of the prayers that were answered maybe in a different way 8 years later, right? So you've probably accomplished your goals in the past, and I think it's worth it to talk about them and to share them with others so we can sort of rise with each other. A high tide raises all ships, right? So when I'm sharing this with you, it's only to just raise your ship. That's all I'm trying to do. So I think it's important to share stories with other people who've been successful in pursuing their goals and dreams. As you can tell, I'm reading from my phone. These stories can serve as examples of what's possible when we commit to pursuing our goals and dreams. Most importantly, popping that bubble of, I'm never going to make it someday. You know, I wish it was like this. It never worked out for me. When I hear these stories from my followers and people that I know follow me, it just really, I don't believe in like giving up like that. You know, I don't believe in the woulda, coulda, shoulda. It didn't work out for me. I'm too old. I'm, I just don't believe in that. You know, I refuse to believe that. And if I chose to give up in 2017, and that journey was documented, by the way. So go visit I'll put a link, I think, right here or right here for that Vlogville series. And you can see the grind that I was on before I made it and became a professional. I was able to make a living doing content. I know what it's like you've seen that image of the guy with the pickaxe digging, and then he was just about to give up. And if he just dug another 6 inches, he would have found a gold mine, right? When I see some of y'all who just tapped out of life, I not me, man. Like, I just refuse to go out that way. And I hope if you're watching this and you've made it this far, you refuse to go out that way as well. So I want to encourage you to make a plan, set specific achievable goals, and create a plan for achieving them. This is going to help you stay focused and motivated and work towards your dreams. I remember buying, not my first camera, but my first DSLR in 2010. I was working at McDonald's, living with my mom, 2010. And I wrote with permanent marker on my wall in my bedroom at my mom's house that in 30 days, I'm going to raise and save $1,500 to buy my first Canon T2i. And I did it in less than 30 days. That is what I mean when I say set out a goal, write it down, make it visible. Now you can screen snap it, save it on your phone, look at it every single day. I don't care if you have to get a tattoo that reminds you of your goal. If it's that important to you, get it done, because when you write it down, it's real. And most importantly, man, I want to remind you guys that it's never too late to pursue your goals. It's never too late to start working towards your goals and dreams. And I want to encourage you to take the first step, no matter how small. Take the first step in achieving what you want in life. I've held myself back, and I've been my own biggest, worst enemy in this business. And I've watched guys achieve their dreams and kind of beat me in the race. Like, I've been this hare, and I kind of slow down in the race, and I've watched tortoises pass me by. And that's because they did the daily consistent action. They did them, and they did it well, and they crushed life. And I'm happy that they're winning. But I've slowed myself down. I've gotten cocky a few times, and I'll just be completely honest, I'm taking all this energy and I'm bringing it into 2023. And I want to inspire, and I want to motivate the doers, and I want to do something about this, and I want to break pattern, and I want to break routine, and I want to bring you guys up with me. And that's why I'm doing this. So first of all, if you made it this far, let me know in the comments below. You guys aren't leaving enough comments for me. You're not liking this video enough for me. If you could do it more, it's going to help me in the long run and help all of us in the long run. I really believe that, because who's coming with me? I love you guys. Keep a force field around your heart, and I'm going to see you guys on the next video. Peace. Wait, before I sign off, I'm going to look at the view ratio versus the comment ratio, and I better see half of you motherfuckers leaving your goals in the comments below. Even if it's just one thing: get rich, I don't care. Lose weight, whatever it is, fucking leave a comment, or I'm going to come back for you, and I'm going to find you, and I'm going to get you. Peace.